Are you thinking about writing a book? Well, I have exactly the group for you. You need Shine Press in your life. They have a free 30-minute consultation that answers your questions and shows you what it would look like to become a Shine Press author. They're illuminating stories and empowering authors. Go to shine-press.com to learn more.
Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. Oh, you are in for a fantastic treat today when you meet my new friend, Hilda. But before I introduce her, I want you to follow this podcast. It makes everything better because you will get automatic alerts that say, new episode, this is going to be fantastic. And you can also help support the cause that is Productive Joy. So I hope that you're following. If you're not already, today's a good day to start. And we have a fabulous guest with us today. So Hilda Fainsod is a lot of things. She's an author. She's a finder of potential. She empowers transformation. She's on lots of podcasts. She is a mom, a foodie, a traveler all over the world. She loves dogs. She loves movies. She is a voracious reader, and she loves friends and wine. And my favorite comment so far today is I asked her red or white, and she said the best white wine is red. So all things red. Welcome to Productive Joy, Hilda.
Thank you, Christy. I'm so glad we have this conversation.
Yeah, this is going to be fun for sure. So people are funny and we really want them to listen. So what would you say that would catch everybody's attention and let them know the next 30 minutes are going to be awesome?
Okay, usually we separate our life like in boxes. So my personal, my professional, my time with kids, different boxes. And today, this idea of productive joy is what I call performance and happiness. So we will find the way not only to deliver results, but also to enjoy the process.
Oh, I love that. Okay, well, that's all people need to hear. They're going to stick around for sure. So Hilda, tell us a little bit about you and how you get people to the point where they are able to perform at their best and have joy along the way.
Yeah, the other day, ChatGPT tell me something about myself really very interesting because I wrote there that I'm a top executive leadership coach and I'm an author. And I have 20 years as a coach and I work with top executives, whatever. And I asked ChatGPT, with all those and my strength, what do you say about my 10% edge? And the answer was something that I'm aware of, that I inspire others.
Oh,
yeah, my family and friends, my clients, and every people that in the world I met, they do recognize that they weren't sure about something and they go after a conversation quite inspired and committed to do something.
so you're a change maker. You convince
yeah.
people that they shouldn't stay where they're comfortable, but they should push and do something really fantastic. So how did you figure out? I mean, I know ChatGPT told you, but before ChatGPT, how did you figure out that this was your calling, that this was the direction you should head?
Yeah, the story is, wow, a long time ago because I was a little one and I have these dolls and a black tiny board and I give lessons to my doll. So I realized I need to be a teacher or something like that when I was a little one. And after that, I studied an educational career and I realized that I love to work with people in companies and that teaching is something that you can do also in the corporate business. So I began to work as a trainer. I do work a bunch of years as a trainer, and I went to the States to update my knowledge in different kind of conferences. And I realized that I don't know why I teach coaching instead of being a coach.
Hmm. Hmm.
And something in that reflection hit my mind and grabbed my attention. And I decided, and that was 20 years ago, to become a coach.
Yeah.
The whole transformation began with me because, of course, it's an inner job to, after that, can influence and impact others' life.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, when I questioned myself.
Yeah. Okay. So you woke up and said, wait a minute, I'm teaching other people how to do this, but I'm actually really good at it. And this is something that I should be doing. So what are you coaching people to do? What sorts of things? I mean, you said that you inspire people, that you help them find happiness, but what are you coaching your clients to do?
Well, actually, there's one question that is the best one. Who do you want to become?
Mm.
In terms of dreams and aspirations, what hit your mind? What, if you can create a future, what would be?
Yeah.
So with that question, I do understand dreams and aspirations and challenges and the things they want, but they are not able to do and accomplish. And they want, but they don't have time to figure out how. And they want, but change is so difficult and they try sometimes and didn't accomplish. So that's when I do find what they really want. And I connect with the question, what matters to you?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because if it's relevant to you, you will have a reason to wake up in the morning and to face whatever challenges are there. But if you don't connect with relevant,
Yeah.
whatever job somebody can do.
Yeah. And that's the hard part, right? Because I think some of us have gotten stuck in jobs that pay the bills, right? Like, this is what I do to pay the bills, but this is what I'm actually passionate about. And they're very separate. And I'm not sure they have to be. As a matter of fact, I know they don't have to be. But sometimes society paints a picture that says this is what success looks like. And we don't ever take time to define it for ourselves. So we're chasing a dream that isn't ours. And it sounds like you help people figure out what their own dream is and then how to get.
Yeah, and I do have a story. I had a few years ago a conversation with one of my friends, and he had a new job offer. So he began comparing the benefits and the vacation holiday days and whatever. And I said, hold on for a moment. What do you want in life?
Yeah.
What do you want as a next step in your career? And he opened wide his eyes and shocked. And he said, gosh, I never asked that before to myself. And I said, you are 48 years. You are a grown up. When are you going to ask yourself that? When you will grow? Actually, you are.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm 48 right now, and I have
it's a
had that
great moment.
but I have had that wake up call, right? Like, wait a minute, I can crunch the numbers, and yes, this seems like the right thing to do, but is it going to make me happy? Is it going to fulfill me? Is it getting me closer to my target versus the target that somebody painted for us? So recently I had a guest, and she talked about the fact that we should stop shoulding ourselves, right? So we should do this and we should do that. And
yes.
stop shoulding ourselves. It's hard to say, but important. And I think that sounds like that's what you told your friend. And that's what you're getting people to do, is to stop shoulding and figure out, what is it that I want? And I appreciate the way you said it, that who do I want to become? And then what matters most to me? Not what do I want to do, but who do I want to become? What do I want to do? Do you have a magic formula for helping people figure that out? Guess what? I wrote a course. and it's called Women Who Lead, and you can find it at www.aimwithus.com. And all you have to do is click on courses, and you and I can spend some really quality time together learning how to make every interaction safe, logical, fun, and memorable. And guess what, guys? It would work for you too. I hope to see you there.
Wow, it's a conversation, a deep one. And sometimes I ask them to leave behind the door all these beliefs and design, being able to design the future you want. And Christie, the future can be the default future. If you see your agenda today, you will find out what appointments and meetings and conversation and at what time you need to do what.
Right.
So this is the default future that unfolds with the day-to-day activity, but not necessarily is the future you want.
Yes.
So the future is by design. So define what do you want in life, and after that, go for it. And then we need to remove some barriers and saboteurs and interference and blockers and stoppers. Yeah, we will need to remove them, but with a clear path of where do you want to be, you can begin to walk step by step. And the best formula is step by step. And we have a society, and especially business and the corporate business, that they love speed.
Yeah.
And we are wired with speed.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember as a mom a bunch of years ago on Sunday saying, kids, carry on. We need to go. And it was like, we have a time, a schedule on Sunday. If we don't, why we need to hurry?
Yeah.
Because the life is like a high speed path. So we need to walk piece by piece, tiny steps. And that way we will accomplish. But we are so scared that small, tiny activities will lead us where we want, that we don't like to move that way.
Yeah. That's so true. I think we operate more out of fear than anything else, right? It's the fear of the unknown. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. It's, all of the phrases that we could say. But essentially, what I'm hearing is that you help people understand, one, what it is they want to be and become, but then what is the incremental path to get there? Because it doesn't just happen overnight, right? There's a step 1, a step 2, and a step 3. And my step 1 might look different than somebody else's because my destination is different. That is pretty great.
And let me tell you something that I hear from you when you said I'm 48. We need to keep the question in our mind of who do I want to become? Because in different seasons in life, and we don't want the same when we are 20, 30, 40, than 50, than 60, than plus. So in different seasons, we want and we need different. So if we don't question ourselves in different stages, we will miss something important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So my children, I have twins, and they are 24. So this is the one time in life where, I'm as old as I was when I had them times 2, right? So at 48 and 24. And I say to them often, I've never been 48 before. You've never been 24 before. We're figuring this out. We don't know how to navigate these waters, but we're navigating them together. And I think what I have enjoyed the most is watching them figure things out for themselves and then ask, right? And come back and go, hey, like Chloe just bought a house. How do I do this? What does this look like? I'm not sure what I'm doing with X, Y, or Z. How do I fix up my backyard, right? Our son is getting married to an adorable woman in July. And
Wow.
yeah, I know how fun is that? I'm going to be a mother-in-law. I don't know how I feel about that part, but
okay, forget the title. Because the way you are is going to support them. So forget
100%. I am thrilled to be gaining a daughter. I like to call it mother in love. That's a little better. But, they're figuring out, okay, what does it look like to be married and how do we figure out our finances and how do we make sure that we're doing it all right? I'm saying all of that because you just said phases of life determine our needs a little differently. And I'm seeing that firsthand with them and remembering how much I've learned in the last 24 years that they've been alive. And I'm hopeful that the listeners are thinking about that right now. Like maybe they're 35 and they have little children that are, in elementary age and beyond. What are they doing right now? What phase of life are they in? And so you help all different phases of life, right? Do you have a favorite group to help?
Well, I love small kids, but I love my kids as adults because the conversation is
Sure.
amazing. And I love these moms that have small kids because they can have amazing conversations with them and to allow them to reflect and learn and to explore and be open to. But my favorite are corporate executives that are really challenged and overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
so much in life.
Yeah. And you help them get unoverwhelmed.
Oh yeah, sure.
Straighten things out.
To.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's awesome. So, Hilda, how would you describe productive joy? I know we had this conversation a little earlier before we came on, but I would love to hear your definition. How would you describe productive joy?
Yeah. When I listen the two words, it reminds me one of my missions. And one of my mission is performance and happiness. So every executive, leader, entrepreneur, solopreneur that I work with, it's like, okay, you want more results. Stop a little bit because this is a high-speed race and you are doing more and more and more, and maybe less can be an answer.
Yeah.
And this is performance, but it will deliver you, it will give you happiness, fulfillment, a time for different interests and persons in life. So for me, productive and joy is the same as performance and happiness, and they can come in a perfect mix.
Yeah.
For every person.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm learning in this journey, right? So we're about 140 episodes in, and I've talked to a lot of, I know, but I'm very excited about that. And I've talked to a lot of really brilliant people like you who are figuring it out, whether they're doing so as an entrepreneur or a leader of a large organization or a leader of their home. They're all figuring out how to love what they do and do it well. I had a guest recently that taught us that you spend 90,000 hours at work if you work a typical 22 to 65 kind of a job. And when I heard that, I thought, oh my goodness, if I'm going to spend 90,000 hours doing something, you better darn believe I better enjoy it or I'm out. Because I want there to be fun, right? But it has to be what I define as fun. And that's what I'm hearing from you is that you help people figure out what that definition is and then seek it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Power Up and how that works and what that is and where that came from?
Yeah. Well, actually, I do have a book in Spanish. I'm from Mexico. Spanish is my language. So the first book I wrote in pandemic times was Buen Camino. And it's a 7 steps to go to a next level in life and business. And after that, 2 years after that, I decided to achieve better and bigger and to write a book in English.
That's impressive.
And I challenged myself, and with these saboteurs in my head, moving around saying, really? You Spanish, why are you going to do a book in English? But it was an amazing experience. I enjoyed very much. And Power Up is a reflection of who do we want to become, but an understanding, a big awareness of what changes require. Because it's not like, okay, you can change it in a bit. There's a shortcut, a quick fix. There's no Christie. There's no.
No.
Changes are really difficult because maybe you know perfectly what you want and you stop doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you try a little bit to be on a diet, and today you saw a piece of cake and you are going to grab it and to eat it. And you swear you are going to fit in your clothes. So change is quite difficult. And we have an inertia. We have those kind of routines that we follow. So quitting, when people want to quit smoke, they realize how difficult is the habit of being in a party and smoking, and with a drink or a coffee smoking, and with a conversation smoking. And we know how difficult it is if you are not so organized to have a perfect agenda and organized desk and everything into place. So change is so difficult. Power Up talks about all these difficulties and what gets in the way.
Yeah.
And we are. Bad news. We are the ones that get in the way. Yeah.
I like that. We are. Bad news. We are the ones that get in our way. Yes.
And I ask people, what is? Is the others, is you, is the context? And the number one is I'm the one.
Yeah.
I begin the effort and the motivation and I stop doing.
Yeah.
And there is an app, Strava is the name,
Yes.
a fitness app. And they said that Quitter's Day usually is the second Sunday or Monday. I'm not recalling perfectly in this moment. And we began with New Year's resolutions, and the second Sunday in the year, we stopped.
Wow.
And
So people only take it 2 weeks.
January. Yeah, 2 weeks. And this is still January. And you have maybe 360 days ahead and you stop doing.
Yeah. Wow.
So change is difficult. And we begin like, I can do by myself. I don't need to go to a nutritionist. I don't need to ask a coach. I don't need a mentor in the company. I don't need. I will figure out.
And that's why we quit, because it's hard and we don't have anywhere to turn. So how great that you, one, figured some of these things out and then decided, you know what, I figured these things out, but I'm not going to keep it to myself. I'm going to write a book that, well, a couple books that will help people in multiple languages figure these things out, and that you're sharing your genius, your unique genius with others. That's special, Hilda, and not everybody does, right? I think we all have gifts, but sometimes we hoard those gifts or we hide them, and that's really kind of wrong, right? And selfish, because the rest of the world needs what we have to offer. So a huge shout out and thank you that you are willing to share the brilliant things that you know and that you've figured out over time with the Productive Joy world, because we are better because we know you.
Yeah, thank you very much for those words. I appreciate. And change is difficult, but we can do small practices that they are not difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't want to create a barrier here to stop people to do some intent. No. We can do small, tiny activities that they become with the time. They become a practice. And when you have a small practice and you keep going every day, you transform yourself from resistance, that I had resistance to do fitness my whole life, like 47 years in my life. And now I'm committed fan of fitness and it's my lifestyle. So 6 days.
Yeah.
6 days in the week, I'll stand up and do something to take care of what I care.
That's
That
awesome.
is health. So it took a lot. Yeah, a whole year, remove resistance and to change meaning and to do something. It took a lot, but finally, I have the best results because I was committed to do.
So you are living out what you're teaching people to do.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Can you give us an example of one of those small things that somebody might do that they could take away today? Like, is there something that you could tell us that would something we could adopt?
Yeah. And one of it is to think 2 minutes reflection. Think about your 24 hours, a big schedule, and you are going to grab only 2 minutes in your morning when you wake up, before you leave the bed. What do you want this day to be different and to impact your life? And your life is this day, because I don't know what else is there. So a 2 minutes practice of thinking, what do I want to feel or accomplish today?
Do you write it down?
It will be amazing. This is another practice to do journaling, but if not, to keep it in mind.
Yeah.
And when you do that and you reflect, you can do different. And another thing is we have routines. I do have a time that I wake up and a 10 minutes practice of breathing. And I do go to the gym at 7 o'clock. I do have a routine. And when I come back, I put the coffee machine. And there are like a minute and a half or 2 minutes that the coffee
is dripping.
Yeah. And you can begin a practice of being grateful.
Yeah.
Or you can take your dumbbells and to do some building some muscle there. So in the routines that we have something steady, we can hang another routine.
Yeah.
Like this 2 minute practice.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So it's building, right? Like you're not going to do it all.
Up.
You're not going to do it all on the first day. I think sometimes that's why our New Year's resolutions don't work, right? Is that we think that you have to do them all on January 1st. Well,
and that is the best way to scare our brain.
Yes.
Our brain needs to survive. And this part really gets scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Hilda, she wants to change everything. Tomorrow she wants to leave carbs and do 6 times a week exercise. No.
Yeah. No. And your brain's wired to not do scary things, to avoid the scary things. So
but small practices.
I love it, Hilda. Well, we all are going to now do our 2-minute practice in the mornings where we're just going to set some intentions for the day. I think that really is smart. I mean, it's simple. That doesn't make it easy, right? There's a big difference between simple and easy. So we are going to work to build that habit. And I'm so grateful that you decided to be a guest on Productive Joy. This was just plain fun for me. I hope it was for you too.
Oh, gosh, I can keep the conversation the whole day.
I know, that's the problem.
And a wine.
So, yes, we just need a little red wine, don't we? Okay, so before I let you go, I have 2 questions for you. One, well, actually, I have a couple questions. My first question, though, is how would people find you? What's the easiest way if somebody is super interested in getting you into their lives? How would they do that?
Yeah, they can read Power Up. They can go to my webpage, hildafainsod.com. They can write me. They can seek me. Hilda Fainsod in LinkedIn and in Instagram. And I love to chat with people. I love to have a conversation. And maybe it's time to really invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And to decide just to have the first conversation.
Yep.
That is a first step.
Yep.
And that's it.
Well, good. I hope that people find you, and we will put all of that in the show notes for sure. And then my other question is actually a series of questions. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is my favorite part. So fun. Okay, so first question, what is your definition of fun?
Okay, it's laugh and read and enjoy and movies and travel and see little things and enjoy them.
Love it. So you're living in the moment, right? Whatever that moment is. Love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, how do you know that you are showing up as your authentic self?
Okay, because what I feel here is what I say. What is in my heart, in my commitment, in my responsibility, in my passions in life, I say out loud.
Love it. Oh, perfect. Okay. How do you channel your best self on your worst days?
Okay, I don't think about worst days. Sorry, Christy.
I love
think
it.
about worst moments because I do know people that they said, okay, the day is a mess. No, this moment is a mess. And when you will do something, it's not going to be the whole day.
Nope.
So what I do, I talk to myself that this is it. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you want to cry? Do you want to feel pity about yourself? Do you want to give you a moment and how you will recover from it and you will take an action? I don't like to cry. I cry a lot, but to cry because poor me, this is awful. No, I move to my best version.
Yeah.
And I know what's my best version.
Oh, I love that. Well, we
do.
have a sign in our bathroom that says perfection comes in moments. And I think that goes back to exactly what you just said, because we have 24 hours in a day. We don't have to be miserable for 24 hours. We don't even have to be miserable for an hour, right? Like we just need to shrink that down and say, all right, I had a moment. Now let's move on.
Yeah, I love that. And I do believe that. So I don't allow people that are around me to think this is a whole mess. And until I sleep, maybe it's becoming better. Maybe. No, I don't think that.
I love it. I love it. Okay, last question, and this one's going to be tough. You've said a lot of really brilliant things today, and people will latch on to one. So if you could pick one thing from what we talked about today that you would like people to remember, what would that one thing be?
Yeah, you can achieve performance and be happy. It's not one or another. It's not that you deliver results and you forget to enjoy, to smile, to feel great, and to have a fulfilling life because it's your opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you, Hilda, for a wonderful guest, for sharing your wisdom with us, for choosing to write a couple books so that people can get better, and for sharing your brilliance with the world. So we were very honored to have you as a guest today.
Christy, I enjoyed it very much. I'm thrilled for this conversation. So thank you. Thank you.
I had a lot of fun. Listeners, I hope you did too. So thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for choosing to learn. Thank you for logging in, for clicking start, for getting all the way to the end. And so please, please make sure that you are following us and that you are reaching out. Hilda told you how to get in touch with her. You can do the same with me. Just look up Christie McMullen or Productive Joy and you will find us, because we need to know what kind of wonderful guests you want. And we need to be able to get more Hildas into our lives. So thank you so much for being here today. And my friends, she dropped all kinds of nuggets of wisdom. So grab one or two and figure out a way to turn fun into action.